DIY projects. I would always encourage anyone and everyone to do those. It could give you a nice challenge, something fun to do, but I wouldn't recommend it if you need to navigate the treacherous waters of U.S. immigration law. That's why you would need a knowledgeable and sturdy captain like this gentleman here with me today, Mr. Richard Jurgens. So welcome everyone to the Simply M Spotlight. I'm Ketty Urbay, founder and owner of Simply M The Movement Dance Studio. And these segments are to help support the community by introducing amazing people like Richard that give to others from a place of love and passion for what they do. So thank you, Richard, for being here today with me.
Thank you, Ketty, for having me today.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I really want everyone to first and foremost get to know you, Richard, and I know a little bit about some of the things that you like to do. And one of the things that I found so interesting is that you're a gambling man. You love to have some fun with the poker and the blackjack tables. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct. Particularly when I'm on vacation. I really try not to go to the casinos when I'm here, but if I'm on vacation, it's one of the activities I enjoy.
I love it. And you love to cook too, right?
Yes, it's one of my favorite things as well. I find it to be very stress releasing, and I think it makes me eat healthier at home.
I love it. So tell us one of your favorite dishes.
Wow, lately I've been cooking a lot with mushrooms that I buy at the farmer's market. So whatever mushrooms they have available, I'll try to make that into something.
Awesome. Okay. So another interesting fact is that you're an immigration attorney now, helping folks that are looking to get residency visas and overcome other challenges to be here in the U.S. But you actually were on the other side of that for 13 years. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that's correct. When I first started my career as an immigration lawyer, I was an immigration prosecutor for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Around 7 years ago, I left that and started a firm with two of my former colleagues.
And what is it that actually gave you that inspiration to make that switch?
Honestly, it was when I was turning 40, I went to Hawaii, and I was literally on top of an old dormant volcano on the island of Maui.
Oh, wow.
And I was having this realization moment that I needed to make some changes in my life, and that was one of them.
Oh my God, I love that. That is so cool. And so after that, you were just like, you know what? I want to help on the other side of the fence.
That's correct.
So in your practice, tell me what now currently, because immigration obviously has been a big topic in the news for a very long time now. Tell me what you find currently are the most common cases that you get, the challenges that you see often.
Right now, the majority of my new cases are people from Nicaragua who are fleeing the political situation in the country and applying for asylum in the United States.
Okay. And that's why I started the conversation saying, you know, DIY, like do it yourself. Many times folks try to get through all that paperwork on their own, right? I'm sure you see that often. And then when they can't get anywhere or things are becoming really difficult, that might be when they come to see you. But if from the very beginning, they hire you as their attorney, tell us what the difference is and why it's so important.
They'll save a lot of money if they come to me first, because when someone tries to save money and do things on their own, they mess up, and then it is much more expensive and time consuming to clean up a mess than to do it the right way the first time.
Than to start over. Yeah, absolutely. So I myself was not born here in the United States. I was actually born in Cuba. My dad was a political prisoner, and back then in the 70s, I'll date myself, there was an opportunity for political prisoners to leave Cuba. And so my dad, my mom, and I left to Spain. And then back then, if you had an immediate family member that would sign an affidavit, said that you would not, receive any government assistance and so on and so forth, you can come to the U.S. And we did in 1980. So I myself am not very well versed with immigration law, but what I do know is that many people come here to the U.S. for many different reasons, looking for asylum, looking for a future for themselves and their families. So is there any story in particular that really stands out for you? I know you've done so many cases, but lately that was just so heartwarming.
Well, I have two cases that I would like to highlight that are recent for me. I took these two people from having an order of deportation in their immigration past to now both of them are permanent residents of the United States.
Wow.
So it involved a lot of different pieces to the puzzle of their immigration history, but at this point, they're very happy because they enjoy all the benefits of being a permanent resident.
Wow. And more or less, how long did that take for you to be able to get them to that point? And I know every case is different,
With
obviously.
each of them, I would say 5 to 6 years.
Wow. Wow. So you are in it for the long haul with your clients. I imagine with that length of time that goes by, you must create an amazing bond and relationship, right? That no wonder you need to cook
Yeah.
and travel and play some poker.
Yes, for better or worse, the
Yeah.
clients are around for a significant period of time.
Right. And so that's a lot to carry, right? That's a lot to have on your shoulders. That's wow.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, one of the reasons, folks, that I really wanted to interview Richard is because he exudes so much compassion and care and understanding, but the knowledge that he has in immigration law is really bountiful. It really would be just a shame if anyone here, well, can you help people outside of Miami, by the way, or do they need to be local?
Yes, the nice thing about immigration practice is it's a federal practice, which
Okay.
means that I can do cases in all of the United States and including the territories of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and Guam.
Wow. Okay, see, I did not know that. I am getting educated today, and I hope you are too. So when you have a case that's outside of Miami, you meet them via Zoom. How does that work if you have to show up for hearings?
Yes, generally we'll do the work through Zoom and emails, and then when it comes time for the hearing, I will have to travel to wherever their case might be. That's also with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services interviews for people becoming permanent residents, for instance. They have offices across all of the United States, and a lot of times clients will ask me to go with them to their interview as well.
Okay, all right. So now that we've talked about some of the law, let's talk about love too, right? So there's a lot of situations where people actually do fall in love, and there's something called, is it a fiance visa, or what is that called?
Yes, there is a fiance visa. It's called a K-1, and that is for someone who wishes to petition for their girlfriend or boyfriend in another country to be able to come to the United States. And then once they're here, they have to get married within 90 days, and then they can apply for permanent resident status in the United States based on their marriage.
Okay, that sounds like that reality show I used to watch, 90 Day Fiancé.
It is
So is
like
that where that comes from?
Yes, it is.
Just without all that drama, maybe?
Sometimes there's drama involved as well.
And how often do you see these types of cases? Are those common too?
Well, generally, a fiance visa is done when someone doesn't have another means to come to the United States lawfully. If someone has another type of visa where they can enter the United States and then subsequently get married to a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, it's a much smoother, faster process. But the K-1 is an option for someone who doesn't have another way to get to the United States.
Okay, all right. And how often, because I hear this all the time too, and you've shared it when we've spoken, is the laws change frequently, right? Like there's always, and especially lately.
The law changes frequently. The interpretations of the law change frequently. Policies of United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, as well as Immigration and Customs Enforcement, are changing all of the time, sometimes on a weekly basis. So
Really, that
you really
often?
have to know what's going on at the moment.
Wow. So another case in point about why it's so important to hire an attorney right from the get-go. So I imagine that you have to stay constantly abreast of all the changes and how they affect any cases that you have, right?
Exactly.
And okay, because it still would apply if something's in transit. They're not like grandfathered in or anything
No,
like that.
things are changing all of the time, and it's really a difficult field to maneuver in that aspect.
So definitely I would want folks to know how to reach you, Richard. I think that there's a lot of families here in the U.S., a lot of people that have loved ones or friends that are in a situation where they need help with their immigration status. What's the easiest way to connect with you and to find you?
The easiest way is to either email me to schedule a consultation or call the office at 305-722-7005. We're open from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and 1 to 2 Saturdays per month.
Amazing. And if someone already has an attorney or, they wouldn't hire you, which of course that's okay, but what is it that you would say are important things for folks to ask, for people to ask of an attorney that they're considering to hire or someone that's currently working on their case if they're starting to feel that things maybe aren't going right? Any red flags or...
It's always a good idea to check in on your case. Maybe it's you're waiting for a work permit, or maybe you're waiting for your final hearing in the immigration court. All of these things, the times are unknown, and sometimes people wait a long time for something to happen in their case. So it's always a good idea to check in with the attorney if you haven't had an update on your case for, let's say, 4 months.
And one final point too on that, because you've shared this with me, is that there's a lot of people out there too that say they can help someone with their forms, but they're not attorneys. And sometimes people think that's a good in-between solution versus, either doing it myself or hiring an attorney. Can you tell us a little bit about why those are treacherous waters to go into?
We have to be very careful because, again, those people are not attorneys. Sometimes they represent themselves to be attorneys to people. Yeah. Other times they don't. But you have to know from the beginning that the person who you're working with is not an attorney and that they don't know the laws. And because it is a very complicated field and not every case is the same, you can't trust that that person necessarily knows what they're doing.
Exactly. So you like to volunteer and you like to give back. And we actually did a walk for St. Jude together. And we had this amazing aha moment when we both realized that we both love Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
And we were both very upset that Netflix no longer has the series on there, and you'd have to go over to Hulu.
Yes, which I don't have.
Neither do I. So that was the question I was going to ask. Just needed an update. Did you give in and get Hulu?
I have not gotten Hulu yet, although it is something that I'm considering.
Right. So every time that I'm on TikTok, and of course all these Schitt's Creek little clips come up, I think of you every single time. So, but I mostly think of you, Richard, because you're such a kind and amazing person, a wonderful attorney. You're doing such great work. Thank you for taking the time to be here today and share with everyone a little snippet of what you do and why it's so important to work with a reputable and honorable attorney. Thank you for everything you do, Richard. I just love the fact that I know you and that you're in my life.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for having this program for everyone to participate, to let people know about our businesses.
You're welcome. So there you have it, folks. If you need any help with immigration law or know anyone that does, please reach out to Richard. Thank you for watching this video today. Be blessed and be a blessing. Take care.